Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Blue Honor Vlog. I'm author Kay Williams. As you know, I wrote Blue Honor, the Civil War novel that this vlog is named for. I also wrote op-dec, Operation Deceit, and the Trilogia trilogy, which is a dark fantasy paranormal trip. So, let me pull up my chair a little bit closer. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to 2025. Whoever thought that they were going to get here? That's insane. It's insane to be looking at 2025. I will be turning 50 this year. What? So back in 2016, almost 10 years ago, in the Open Book Blog Hop, we were tasked with answering the question of what our top 12 rituals were. Let's see if I can go back over that and see how I feel about those a decade on. Almost a decade on. So the way that I formatted this, and you can look it up on the blog, you would just put in the top 12 rituals, search that, and that should come right up. I organized it by month, and I thought that that was a good way to look at it, month to month rituals, almost holidays, if you will. So in January, you know, we celebrate the new year. Basically, all I do is have dinner with the family. All I care about is food. I'm like, give me the food. I love the food. I don't make New Year's resolutions. And that really is kind of my ritual. I either do or I don't, and I don't wait for the new year to happen to improve my life or whatever. You're wondering what this is sticking out over here. It's the Millennium Falcon. I don't look for some holiday to cue me in to make a change in my life. When I'm ready for a change in my life, I make the change. So many people make New Year's resolutions. Sorry, it's late. And a lot of them fall through. You know, I just don't think it is enough of a catalyst to get you to make change in your life. At least it was never for me. You know, the reason that I don't make these resolutions is because I don't keep them. Things that make me change my life is necessity and wanting to. And I don't beat myself up. If I don't want to do something, I don't want to do it, right? So I'm not going to do it. I might resolve in the middle of the year to start saving money to go on a trip, or say, hey, I want to visit Lake Salem, or I want to go back to Disney, or I want to take my daughter to XYZ. That's pretty much it. And I guess maybe that's a bit privileged. I'll admit it, that maybe a bit privileged. But, you know, several years ago in 2020, I found out I was pre-diabetic, heart issues, etc. And I needed to make a change. And I have been going strong ever since with workouts, etc. So that was not January for that resolution. And I have kept it up ever since. Any resolutions that I made as for the new year, it didn't stick. They never sticked. Stuck. Sorry. Sticked. You can tell I've been hanging out with a 7-year-old for a while. February, I've been thinking more about ancestral traditions and researching those as far as European pagan ideas and stuff, and what comes. So this would be preparing for the coming end of winter. So spring and stuff is coming in, and things that have to do with that. So really easy. But it's a hard time for me because there's been a lack of color in the world, and as an artist I really crave color and design and all sorts of things. So I have to get really busy with my art at that time. So that may be ritualistic preparation for the spring and the thaw. March is when I find that I have my energy returning quite a bit, and you'll see those projects and stuff really coming along. And, I start waking up, basically. That's kind of how I feel. I start waking up. So maybe some book projects or stuff will come into gear at that point. I know summer's coming, my birthday is coming, all of that. Aries season, because as a Gemini, and I know a lot of you don't buy into astrology, I'm wishy-washy on that, but I do know that 90% of people who are Aries, I love them. So Aries season is coming, and I'm getting excited about that. I don't really have any rituals per se in February and March, other than doing art to try and curb that that dreariness and depression that can come from that. Because I have depression, anxiety, CPTSD, ADHD, neurodivergence, and I tend to need color to keep me from going downhill. So I don't know if it would be rituals, so to speak, as much as it is just practices. I guess practices are rituals. But March, I do start preparing for my garden and thinking about what I want to do with that. And I feel like planting is a ritualistic practice to ground oneself, and I can't really start that up until April, but sometimes I do start the plants indoors and start with that and momming over them as much as possible and really getting that whole rebirth and spring and fertility thing going with that. And I'm just glad to start seeing flowers come up. Of course, throughout all of these time periods are little holidays and stuff. So I'll put, decorations up and stuff for the little one to kind of brighten up the house and stuff and make her smile. So you have Valentine's Day. So all like the red, hot, purple, pink hearts and stuff are up. And you get into March with St. Patrick's Day. So there's a lot of green and learning about Irish ancestry and stuff for her. I mean, she's little. There's not a lot that I can teach her yet. At 7, there's a little bit. And April, of course, Easter. Easter sometimes falls in March. So the fertility stuff, rabbits and chickies and, celebrating that aspect of things in the rising spring. We are not religious in this house, i.e. Christian. So I generally speaking don't practice those things. It's a pagan aspect. I mean, Christianity has injected itself into so much. It's almost like impossible to get away from it. And so we just kind of do the rabbits and duckies and chickies and candy baskets and stuff for Easter. She has not been taught any of that other stuff, and she won't be until she is capable of critical thought, because I do not want her misused, as I've seen done so often by the church and individuals who buy so deeply into it. And I don't care if people think that I'm being judgmental. I after the election of 2024, I do not care. Christofascism is here, and I don't care. So this YouTube is out there. They'll probably put me in a camp or something at some point for this, and here it is. But I stand my ground. I'm an intellectual, and I don't believe in that religion. I believe in, the cycles of the season and those energies. Do I believe in hereafter? I don't think that this life happens for no reason. There's nothing scientifically that happens for no reason. I don't think that we just come in and cycle out like that, and it's for nothing. The level of complexity that a human mind has, and even my dog's mind has, is just way too much for it to be for nothing. That said, moving on to May, and we are like full-blown spring, right? By this time, we're really edging on to summer. Mother's Day and celebrating people who can have children, people who can become pregnant and have babies, celebrating that and the mothering. I know a lot of people who don't have mothers or who had terrible mothers. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen, and they have every right to be angry and not celebrate this, or to be missing their moms. There are those who are missing their moms. So May, the rituals for reflecting on that and being grateful that I had the mom that I did. Trying to be an amazing mom for my kid. Those sorts of things. Let's see, I have here planting. So again, the April-March thing of gardening and life and those processes and interacting with the earth and those energies. June is the month of my birth, so it is a month-long celebration. And I really gear up to that. Some years, not so hot. Other years, I just let it happen, basically. It is what it is, We're slowly sliding towards the next world, I guess. Not a real lot going on other than that, reflective of the days gone and the days coming and planning. There's always a lot of planning within my calendar and working towards things, and historically just trying to keep my head above water because wages, July is my daughter's birth month, and at the time that I wrote this, she had not been born yet. She wasn't yet conceived, in fact, so that was yet to come. I'm starting to probably think at this time about how winter's not too far off, and driving in those cold, icy roads and hating it, and then being like, oh my God, I'm baking in this car, it's so hot, and that sort of thing. But as far as rituals, again, it's just pretty much, the interaction with the earth and the growth and stuff. So at this point, my garden will be very well grown. The bounty is a-coming, so to speak. So keeping an eye on things like that. Throughout the year, I'm always trying to learn things and plan my growth as far as learning, and whether that is with gardening, writing, language learning, etc. August, again, just resting and connecting with the earth. And September, all the kids are going back to school, and I start getting very wistful at this point. I don't know if it's like the annual depression thing, because I know that this feeling that I get at that point, this kind of strange melancholy, can be a signal to here comes the depression, because the end of the year is coming, and that's sad. I'm like, here goes another year already. what have I been doing this whole time other than, nose to the grindstone, trying to save to be able to do things or have things, and has it gotten me anywhere? So again, the reflectiveness starts and taking account. Harvesting may start happening at this point. One big thing we do as a family is go apple picking. And I very much believe that that is a ritual because, like Easter, like Halloween, like Yule, we come together as a family and we share food and gifts and love and all of this stuff, and we do the same things. It's almost always the same types of foods. It's almost the same type of activities through the day. So in a way that's very ritualistic, like October and the carving of pumpkins and fetching the pumpkins, decorating the house will probably start, and it has in the last couple of years. I have started in August to put out the Halloween decorations and get everything together, really celebrating death and mayhem and horror because it's something I really, really love. And handing out candy to the kids, that is definitely kind of a ritual. It is a cultural ritual that we share with our neighbors and letting them know how much we care and we love them and we're happy to see them at our door, saying hello and giving them a little bit of candy. I love planning my daughter's costume and getting that all set. And I think I got her locked into being a Jawa this year, so this helmet is going to come in handy. Or perhaps I'll traipse around behind her as Leia. That might be a little bit easier because I think the only thing I need for that is the boots, the white boots. So that's a thought. November, of course, is preparing the garden and the house for the winter sleep. And Yule coming, harvest feast and Yule and things like that. But as you can tell, there's not a whole heck of a lot that I do as far as ritual. And I don't really find that sad. I don't have a lot of time for all of that. But as far as doing things with the family and doing it on an annual cycle, there are those things like apple picking, Easter celebrations, Yule celebrations, feast, harvest feasts, gift days, like Valentine's, making sure that my daughter has a gift for me to express how much I love her, even though I express it throughout the year. But it's that special day to say you are definitely loved, and I want you to know this is a day about love and stuff, and to have her have a positive outlook on that and to role model what positive affection looks like for her, from adults and stuff, what is okay, etc. Modeling that and stuff throughout the year, as a parent should. But I'm not really sure as far as rituals. I mean, day-to-day rituals is the bathing and the preparing with the makeup and the hair and the dressing and the different things. That's ritualistic. The doing of the dishes, the cooking of the dinner. But when I think ritual, I really think of, people putting on robes and chanting and marching and standing around a table and lighting candles and, reciting things that sound like, spells that make certain groups cower, which it shouldn't. It's no different than church. But yeah, solitary practices as far as my culture and my belief set. I'm sorry. It's late. Last time I recorded, it was late too. So you gotta wait until the kiddo's in bed so that I can have quiet. Bedtime rituals. So every night there's bedtime rituals with the good night and the turning on of the night lights and the reading of the books. So there's all of that. And nighttime snack for me, so that I make sure that I have all my calories for the day, because I have to track all of that. Would my exercise be ritualistic? If I don't do it, I don't feel right. So to me, that sounds ritualistic. I have to do it, because not only does it affect my physical well-being, it is helping my mental well-being. So it does kind of feel like a ritual in a way. But, nothing quite so traditional on the day today. I do not put down a mat and pray. I do not light candles and things for deities on the daily. I don't. It's just not something that I do, or if I need to do. So there are my top rituals, and going through the year, basically. Interacting with the earth and growing things is probably the biggest thing that I do. And I really enjoy that. I would not describe myself as a green witch, though, if you're wondering. I wouldn't. I don't know enough about greenery and herbalism to be declared in that. I just know that I need to interact with the ground and the earth and that sort of thing, from late spring through to winter. It helps. It helps, especially with my depression and sense of well-being. So maybe that's ritualistic, maybe it's not. Leave me comments below. Let me know what kind of rituals that you follow throughout the year. Hopefully they're not crazy. You never know what you're going to get online when you ask a question like that. So anyway, please subscribe. I will see you back here next time. Don't forget, I'm over on TikTok and I make posts daily there. So, and they're much shorter than this. I'll see you next time. Thanks.